I remembered each flash as time began to burn, like a startling sign that fate had finally found me, and your voice was all I heard, that I get what I deserve.
Alright guys, welcome back. We are about to start our final set between Tassadar and Cezanne. So get ready, the countdown has started. Don't go anywhere. This is game 1. This is the GSL Code round 32. Up here at the top right of Antigua Shipyards, we have Tassadar of the team NS Hosa. Over here at the bottom left, we have OGS Cezanne, a player who's managed to stick around for quite some time yet. And we saw Cezanne play last week, actually, and triumph over his opponent. We'll see if he can do it against Tassadar here. I personally feel that Tassadar's PvZ is his worst matchup. I think it's the matchup that he's the most vulnerable in, the matchup he understands the least, etc., etc. Not to say that he's bad at this matchup, but I think it's definitely his weakest matchup, and I think for that reason, Cezanne's got a pretty good chance here, especially at these positions, where cross positions is going to be a force fast expander, perhaps the Nexus first from Tassadar. And Cezanne may decide to go for a hatchery first. I don't think we'll see that though. I think we'll see gas, pool, maybe a 14 extractor, 14 pool, something like that. Especially now that this probe is here. You can't go hatchery first if the probe is in your base. He's not going to let you. So, we'll see what Cezanne chooses. Going up to 14 drones here, and it's going to be pool first. There it is. And in reply, Tassadar makes a forge. Go ahead and do a little bit of blockage here with his probe. May make the pylon, but I don't think he'll make it. When your opponent goes pool first, the Zerlings will be out long in time to deal with that pylon, should you choose to make it. We'll see though. I like this music in the background. Really fitting for this drone chase, and does decide to block with the pylon. And it does delay the hatchery significantly, because otherwise it would be starting right now. He's going to have to make a few Zerglings. You don't normally see this, but as it delays the hatchery, it does delay the Nexus. So, have a double-edged sword there. Now, he's forced to make 4 Zerglings. He cancels it. Probably will not block again, but wouldn't put it past him after blocking that first time, so he's going to finally go home. Photon cannon on the way, no gateway just yet for Tassadar. And the Zerlings get here, they see no pylon. Finally, says Cezanne, I can take my natural. Tassadar isn't done yet though. Probe's still around, checking for a fast third. Fast third's pretty common to see after the hatchery block with the pylon. And it looks like Cezanne actually made 6 Zerglings instead of just the usual 4. And one of these Zerglings is going to find the probe. I like that a lot. And these Zerglings are not going to be able to sneak up here. If he tries to, Tassadar can just block, and he's actually going to try this. Tassadar does not block, but these 2 Zerglings inside of the main base are not very significant. All he's going to be able to see is that he has not yet taken his 3rd and 4th gas here at his natural. He doesn't even have a cybernetics core yet, so not too significant that these Zerglings are in here. Not going to do a whole lot. Maybe I would kill a probe or 2 if he controls extremely well, but if Tassadar controls equally as well or even less well, he should be totally fine. And just remember, those 2 Zerglings are 1 more drone he could have back at home. I like this. Tassadar has 1 pylon, very undefended. He may actually even be able to get this pylon. It's getting pretty low. And Probe's having to be pulled here, but he's going to surround these lings and kill them now. And that is the end of that. So, did force the probes off the line a little bit longer, and a third hatchery going down for Cezanne now. Sentry on the way for Tassadar. Going to start +1 very soon here as well. He's added his third assimilator. Fourth assimilator perhaps going up soon. Looks like we're going to see a Stargate right in plain view of the Overlord. And that is a lucky break for Cezanne. He's going to know immediately what he needs to do to deal with the build that Tassadar is throwing at him. Right now, only drones being made for Cezanne. He's gone up to 30. He's a little bit behind, just 2 workers behind, but with the amount of production he's about to have with his third hatchery, his drone production is going to surge through the roof. Second Stargate put up here for Tassadar at his natural, but Cezanne is already going to prepare for the first one. Having 2 isn't going to be significantly better in this case. Actually may come back to bite Tassadar just a little bit, committing to the 2 Stargate play. Especially since Cezanne has been droning like a madman. He's just now starting his circling speed at his spawning pool. Very late circling speed. No pressure being put on whatsoever from Tassadar. Not getting +1 for his ground at all either. And this first Void Ray is going to go out Overlord hunting. Interestingly enough, Tassadar was able to keep this probe alive over here. That's pretty impressive considering how much Cezanne has been doing to try to find these probes. A second Void Ray starting here for Tassadar. That's a little bit surprising. I expected him to make 1 Void Ray and then start making Phoenixes. 2 Void Rays and then starting to make Phoenixes can be okay too though. And the first Void Ray is out. He's actually hiding it. He thinks he's gotten away with this, but in fact no, already 2 Spore Crawlers going down for Cezanne. 1 at the third base, and it looks like the other one will be in the main base. And he is just going to try to hide this Stargate play and then go for a big attack, making a Phoenix now. We have 3 Void Rays and a Phoenix. That's still going to be fairly strong, but with already spores on the way and extra queens being made, I think Cezanne's going to be totally fine. Look at this. Making an extra queen at his third base. So lair goes up here in his main. More gas is being taken, taking double gas at the natural. Probably going to take these at his third base fairly soon. And not only did he already know about it, but he's going to definitely know now about these Void Rays as well as the Phoenix. But there's only 1 Spore here. He's going to have to start another one, and that second queen here isn't out just yet. A little bit of hesitation from Tassadar. These roaches aren't going to be very useful. Nice micro by Tassadar. It's not every day you get to see people micro back their Void Rays like that. The Spore is cancelled, but look at this, 4 queens out now, and all that this build has done for Tassadar was kill a Spore Crawler. That is about it. He's damaged a queen and forced to cancel another Spore Crawler. That's what he's done. With a huge commitment, making double Stargates. Now starting to add more gateways. Hydralisk Den though is on the way. Robo on the way. Tassadar with no strong presence on the map except these units. Yeah, he's going to clean up Overlords, he's going to supply block Cezanne, but I'm a little bit concerned for him. Although, you know what? We saw Slayer's Alicia use just 3 Void Rays to just pick off spores like this. It worked quite well. We'll see if it works well. In this case, for Tassadar, it does pick off a queen here, and now this lair is in danger, and actually these Overlords are a little bit, you know, I'm a little bit concerned for them because these Void Rays are all charged up. The Spore does go down 3 queens, but 4 Phoenixes. Oh man. This actually looks really bad for Cezanne. Suddenly I actually have to take back everything I said. The final queen does fall. A few Hydras pop out. But with Phoenixes here, he can lift them. Does not lift them. In fact, the Phoenix is retreating. A Void Ray falls. And that was a scary moment for Cezanne, but he's still held. Excuse me. Lost all of his queens, though. It's going to be a lot of injects missed. We may see Tassadar try to follow up with a gateway timing. He is going to add a ton of gateways here. But will he have enough units in time? Because by the time he has this out, the queens that are being made right now are going to be out. He's going to have injects. He already has a decent amount of Hydras. Hydras are quite good at defending timing attacks like this, especially when you have this much creep. You have a few roaches out as well to help the Hydras. Spire going up here. It's the last thing Tassadar is going to expect. It's already got Colossi on the way with these 4 gateways. Probably going to go with 1 Colossus and the rest of his gateways. He needs to have some sort of presence out on the map now, though. He needs to go soon because these gateways, well, yeah, they're finishing up here he needs to warp his units in near his opponent's base, and he hasn't even prepared to do that yet. I'm a little bit concerned about what Tassadar is doing. 8 more drones on the way, forces on. Even though a few drones were lost to Phoenixes, in total it was only, look at that, 3. And 63 drones to 50 probes, 3 bases to 2. Even having a macro hatchery going up here for Cezanne. Very impressive Cezanne's play here. You know, Tassadar did a lot more with that attack than I thought he would, but even so, it's putting him in a slight disadvantage how much he committed to this. Phoenix is trying to find something to kill here, but the Hydras are on top of everything. Notice, look at Cezanne's vision. Notice he has a Zergling here. He has creep tumors here. He has a Zergling here. He has an Overlord here. He actually sent a Zergling in here to see what's going on. He's actually on top of everything. There's not a single thing he doesn't know about. Except, he does not know how many gateways there are. He tried to check with that Zergling to see how many gateway units there were. Didn't get a very good glimpse. So I'm a little bit concerned for him here because this is a big push. This is basically an all-in from Tassadar. He's going to have to win this game right here. There are no Corruptors out. 8 of them, though, are about to pop. More Roaches on the way. Plus 2 missile attacks on the way as well, but I don't think they're going to be done in time. The key here, though, is he does have creep. That's going to buy him a lot of time. Yeah, it's not really going to come into play in the fight, but it is going to slow Tassadar's push down slightly here. These Corruptors are going to be so key in holding this. Spore Crawler buying a little bit more time. Zealot's kind of getting a little bit overeager. These force fields are good, but they may be a little bit preemptive. Phoenix is lifting up Hydras. Corruptors coming in from the side, taking out the Colossus, and now the Hydras have been dropped, and it looks like Cezanne is going to hold this no problem. Void Ray is falling now down to these Corruptors, and the Roaches, they have no care for the Void Rays, just ignoring them, chasing down the gateway units, and I think Cezanne has gotten himself into an unlosable position at this point. Tassadar trying to retreat, trying to micro with his Colossi, but he is doomed to fail. Colossus falls, and now that's it. GG! Well, Tassadar, with the very unfortunate circumstances of building a Stargate next to an Overlord, did not really bode well for him. Followed up with a timing attack that was just a little bit too late. If he had hit with that timing right when those gateways were finishing, he would have won that game. No question in my mind, but he waited for a round of units before going. His opponent scouted it with the Zergling, made a ton of attacking units at that moment, and held it off just fine. Had those Corruptors out. I mean, imagine if that one Colossus and about 7 or 8 gateway attack hit just a minute before those Corruptors were out, before he had those Roaches. He only had Hydras. You know, that one Colossus would have done all the damage needed to really deal with those Hydras, and then the second Colossus would have come to reinforce right at the moment that all those units were popping out. He would have actually just crushed them. But that's it for Game 1. Game 2, countdown is starting. Will Tassadar tie it up, or will Cezanne 2-0 him? Let's find out here at the GSL Code.